I apologize in advance to anyone out there named Karen. I am sure that you are a lovely person, but I'm gonna bet that these Karens are not, because today we're watching videos, a number of videos from Mr. Discovery's channel. If you've not seen his channel, go check it out. There's a link in the description. But we've got a compilation of videos from him. These are Karens versus the law. This is gonna be entertaining. I'm gonna give you the good, the bad, and you do the same in the comments.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
I would like to call...
Ma'am, stop. I know you want to control this room, but this isn't Burger King. When the sign changes to Burger King, you can have it your way. Right now, it's in my
I love
courtroom,
that line.
and you will answer my questions.
The defendant doesn't take the hint, though, and just keeps on talking.
Under my 50...
Ma'am, stop. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury? Yes or no? Are you going to tell the truth? All right, I'll take that as silence. I understand her attorney is on here. Where is her attorney?
Oh my God, if you're her attorney, you're just like, no, please. This happens like a lot. Like back in the day, we used to be next to our client in court. And, you're standing up there at the bench and you're talking or whatever, you're saying something to the judge, and your client's like, hey, can I say something? And you're like, no, absolutely not. You could elbow your client, pinch him, like, shut the under your breath, right? Now with Zoom, you can't do that. Like, I've been sitting on Zoom, my clients at their house or wherever they are on Zoom, and like your client's got no shirt on. And you're like, dude, texting them on the side, like, message him on Zoom, like, put a shirt on, like, dude, this is court. Or like he's talking in the middle, like, let me just say one thing, judge. And you're like, this is not gonna be good. And you can't shut him up like you could back in the day when you were next to him in person. So I feel for this. I don't even know what's gonna happen, but I feel for this attorney. Seems like the client is in court in person and standing in front of the judge, and the attorney is on Zoom. Now, I've done this, but boy, it is not recommended. Like, you do not want that because, again, you cannot properly advise your client at best and properly control your client, at worst.
Attorney,
Mr. J. Becker.
again, say anything again without telling me you're going to tell the truth, and I will hold you in contempt of court for 93 days.
She can.
Contempt carries with it 93 days and or $7,500. You will not act disrespectful in this court. Do you understand, ma'am?
My sort of favorite part now is that that's like the very beginning. Like, you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Like, that is the most basic, like, yes, the answer is yes. Otherwise, what are you doing there in court? Like, no, you know what? I'm not really going to tell the truth here. That's the simplest, like, yep, move on. And now maybe you mix it up and you tell a story or you step over the line trying to prove your case. But I love how they couldn't even get past, like, the very basics. Like, okay, we're all above board here, right? She couldn't answer that.
Coming in for this clip, we have what's called a Ken. But this Ken is no ordinary Ken. In fact, this person's name is Martin Hyde, a politician based in Florida. Now, is it a surprise that he's tripping over his power by trying to ruin the career of the young lady?
Can I see your license? Right? Yes, sir, I do. Can I see your license registration?
You know who I am.
You can do this?
Yes, sir. I still have a job to do, sir.
Yeah, okay. What's your name?
Officer Beskin, it's going to be on the citation. Can I see your insurance registry, please? Sir, can I have your paperwork, please? 7 years, sir. Can I see your registration, please? I'm asking you if you have your registration.
You're making career decisions.
Okay, sir.
Doing this?
Sir, because you were speeding and you were texting.
Says what? Where's your video?
All right.
Call the supervisor. I just spoke to your boss.
Okay.
There's nothing going.
Sir, you're going to be issued a citation.
Everything you have to say. I'll wait for the supervisor.
You can wait for the supervisor, but I'm going to go through what I need to go through.
The video that we just showed you went viral after it was released, and Hyde was forced to make a statement.
Let me guess, it went viral for him being an asshole.
He apologized for his wrongdoings, as this would not have been good publicity for him. Hyde subsequently lost his campaign for office.
So is Ken like the male version of a Karen? See, I'm so not cool. I don't even know. But I think like he was a Ken, like a male version of a Karen. And yeah, he kind of was. And God, what an ego, right? A politician. I mean, he's not the president, right? He's probably not even the mayor. And even if he was, like, so what, man? It's a traffic ticket. It's just a traffic ticket. So I don't know. The guy seems like an asshole to me. And I really like this Ken name now. I just learned something new. I love it.
I'm watching you drive all the way up the street with your head buried in the phone. All the way up the street.
No, it was not.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and pull you over. I have it on my camera. I have everything. And, I mean, and don't tell me you're on directions.
No, I'm not on directions. It's my damn neighborhood. Do you really have nothing else better to do with
You're gonna get pulled over. You got to pull over into the BP lot. Pull up next to the behind that. Yes, ma'am.
So they can do this. In fact, I will admit that in the suburbs of Chicago a few years ago, I got one of these tickets. I was stopped at the light. I pulled out my phone and tap on the window, like at the intersection. I'm like, what? And it was an officer. Did the exact same thing. Said, pull over. Now, obviously, I didn't argue with him like he did. I pulled over, and he walked into that lot too and issued me the ticket. I got it dismissed, by the way. Let's just talk for just a minute about cell phone tickets. Just, operating a motor vehicle while using an electronic device. Here in Illinois, the law is very clear. You cannot even be touching that phone while your vehicle is in drive. So you can put the vehicle in park, and technically, like, I could have put my car in park at that stop sign, or maybe even neutral, and because it's not in drive. And then I could go on the phone. The other thing is, like, people are like, I was just checking the time. I was just changing the song. I was just looking at directions. I was just doing anything at all. I wasn't talking on my phone. Like, people remember back in the day, the law started off with, like, you couldn't talk on your phone. And so you had to get this, like, headset, right? Or wireless device or whatever, right? People still think of that as the law. It is not. Cell phones have changed and evolved. You can do a whole lot more on a phone now than just talk. So the law has evolved and changed to include anything on your phone, even just holding it in your hand and driving here in Illinois is illegal. So it is rather, all right, I shouldn't say this about people who got tickets, but I'm going to say it anyways. It's rather humorous sometimes to sit in court and hear people make their arguments. They'll go up in front of the judge. They're obviously not represented by an attorney. And the judge is like, how do you plead to this cell phone ticket? Guilty or not guilty? They're like, not guilty. And the judge is like, all right, what happened? Like, just go right into a trial, all right? It's a 3-minute trial. And they'll be like, so I was not talking on my cell phone. All I was doing was holding it and checking direct. Judge is like, guilty, next. Like, they just admitted it just within the first 10 seconds of their argument because they didn't bother to understand the law. And it is that you cannot even touch your cell phone, hold your cell phone while the vehicle's in drive.
Nothing else to do in your damn day, do ya?
I don't want to be killed by you, ma'am. Pull over into the BP lot. Just call me a douchebag.
The police officer making the stop is Columbus police officer Keith Connor. In about 3.5 years, Officer Connor has issued over 900 citations to distracted drivers. So to say he has experience with these types of drivers would be an understatement.
Okay, she pulled over. That's good.
Police brutality.
I need your license, your registration, and insurance. Can you please put your feet in and close the door?
Why? Is this
Because
against
it's
the
for
law?
my safety and your safety.
Well, you see my hands at all time. Is this against the law right there? Am I not allowed
I need
to have?
your license,
is it against the
registration,
law?
and insurance, ma'am. You're willing to text with your daughter in the back seat.
Dude, I'm not texting. Dude, I'm not texting.
You were typing and you look, there's a picture there and you're typing under with a green text bubble.
I'm not
comments
texting.
on a picture.
This is a little thing. Just
Okay,
to let you,
you know
know,
what?
you may be an
Go
old
ahead
man.
and give me.
So I use this little thing.
Okay, I don't need your insurance.
Where I
I'll pull it up, ma'am.
Where I hit
You
this.
are going to be issued a
And I talk
citation
in my
today.
phone like this. That's not. My child just had an accident.
I've asked you to stay in your seat, ma'am.
Well, I have a child to tend to.
I've asked you to stay in your seat. Can you please close?
Is this, excuse me, is this part of the law, a part of getting pulled over?
I'll
Is
tell you what.
Is it? I'm just asking because you're being pretty forceful about it, and I would like to know the truth. Is that a law?
There's your driver's
Can you
license,
answer
ma'am.
that for me, Officer
What
Connor?
you're being
People do like to talk about this, like, what can the officer do, not do? The officer is allowed to reasonably control the scene. So, you know, it's debatable what is reasonable, but asking someone to stay in their car for everyone's safety in a crowded place, right, while he's going back and forth between his car, is definitely going to be considered reasonable. So it's not like the law. Does the law say that I can't open my car door? No. But the officer is allowed to reasonably give commands, give lawful orders. But, you know, it's to be interpreted, right? There's a gray line. It's not clearly delineated where every person can step or walk or say or do. It's a reasonableness standard. And so far, the officer is being very reasonable.
cited for is
Are you not
texting
gonna
while driving
answer
today,
my
ma'am.
question?
I'm going to give you a copy of the law today.
You're not going to
gonna
answer my
understand.
question about the law.
What is your question again?
Is this illegal to have my door open?
It depends on my feeling of safety, and you've been very aggressive for absolutely no
Well,
reason.
come on, bro.
You
You
have
pulled
a
me
small.
over for
I'm not your
multiple
bro.
times.
Okay.
Well, I don't care. I'm going to call you what I want.
Your small child is dependent on you, and their
you're
life
trying to
is
turn
in
your-
danger. Their life is in danger because of what you're doing. You're endangering all our lives
Well,
today, and
you're,
that's why you're
making
being
an
cited.
assumption that I was texting when I'm using voice to
Well,
talk.
ma'am, you can go to court.
Here in Illinois, that is exactly the argument that I hear people make. And it's like, that is an admission to violating law. You have to first read through the statute, read through the law to see what is the part that is illegal. You can almost hear judges and prosecutors and everybody else who's actually read the law. You can just hear their eyes roll when you see these arguments in court. And you do see arguments, maybe not this aggressive often, but you see the same sort of line of argument in court. I wasn't texting. I wasn't talking. I was just doing XYZ on my phone instead, which is still equally as illegal.
On the
Oh, you get to see me
19th,
again. Yes,
9
you do.
o'clock in the morning,
Yeah,
and
are
I
you
would
gonna
love
be
to
there?
play this for the judge. This would be absolutely outstanding. This would be entertaining
right.
for the judge.
Oh, okay.
You can go on the 19th at 9 o'clock in the morning. This address, courtroom 1B, to plead not guilty in front of a judge.
Sure.
Your second option, you can actually pay for it in person downtown.
Butterfingers. Making us all unsafe on the road.
I'll tell you what, you know what?
Are you going to stop the traffic?
I'm going to
so
go
I can
ahead and
go
give you a
back
copy of the law today. I don't even need you to sign this. I'll go ahead and say
No,
unwilling.
don't do that in my car, please. Excuse me, that's my property. Do not do this on my property.
Unwilling. Do you have any questions for me today, ma'am?
Plenty of questions.
There you go.
Are you going to stop the traffic so I can take
Okay,
a
if you
left
don't
out
want
of
it,
here?
not a chance.
Why?
Do you have any other
You
questions,
ruined
ma'am?
this, and you know
Have a great day,
You know
ma'am.
my daughter just had an accident.
Oh,
Well,
what
at
a...
least she's alive today because of me.
Following this interaction,
pain
the
in
lady
the
that was
ass.
pulled over and cited made a post on social media referring to the officer as a complete jerk for sitting at lights making sure motorists aren't using their phone whilst driving, saying he berates women in front of their children and that he approached her and thinks it was certainly threatening. The officer had a swift reply on the social media platform with nothing but the facts stated on it. This guy truly is keeping our streets safer. And I think the only people who disagree are the ones who were caught with their mobile phones while driving.
There's something about cell phones. I've said this for years now. It's like just such a personal part of us. Like it's there. It's, you know, most people it's 2 feet away while you're sleeping. You go to the bathroom with it. You never leave, you know, anywhere without it. It's just something personal about it. When someone says, hey, you can't do that with this thing that is so attached to you, people take it very emotionally, very seriously. And yeah, that video can definitely be played in court. Now, I don't know if it was, but if she pleads guilty, You bet your ass that prosecutor is going to play that. It'd be so entertaining to play that for the judge.
Based on the facts of the case, going after someone with a knife, court finds there is a danger to the victim. Court's going to set count 1 at $10,000. Count 2, court's going to set that bond at $10,000. Court's going to order he has no direct or indirect contact with Jesus Noval. No direct or indirect contact. Must stay 500 feet away from him at all times. All
right, so this is a bond hearing. This guy was arrested in the last day or two or over the weekend or whatever, and now he's in front of a judge on these new charges. And what the judge is deciding is, and here in Illinois we call it a Gerstein hearing. Basically, he's deciding, like, can we keep this guy? Can we hold him? Is there probable cause to hold him? And then what is the bond amount for him to be released? What is the conditions of his release from the jail here? And you saw the judge go through sort of count by count here. Seems like some serious charges. They didn't specify. We said $10,000. Each state's going to be a little different. That could be $10,000 cash that needs to be posted. Or here they have a bond called a D bond where it's only 10% of that amount, so $1,000. I could see there, depending on how serious the allegations are, how serious his background is, but some knife's a deadly weapon, so it wouldn't surprise me if 10,000 needed to be posted. And then there can be SCOBs. We call them SCOB, special conditions of bond. You have to stay away from this person. You have to be on an ankle bracelet for home confinement, no driving, whatever those special conditions of bond are.
I'm going to order that he's not in possession of any guns, weapons, firearms, or ammunition.
SCOB.
Court's also going to revoke his bond on 098502 CF10.
So what that means is they're revoking his bond on another case. So this guy's got a prior case that's open and pending, and he's got a bond on that, and he's out on bond. And when you are out on bond and you catch a new case, we call bond on bond, and it is never a good thing, because when you catch a new case, that prior bond gets revoked or can get revoked. They don't need to prove anything. They just need to prove that you got a new case. They don't have to even prove that you're guilty of this new case, but they're going to revoke that bond. And when you do not have a bond, that means you will not get released.
You're going to be held no bond, sir, until further order of the court. Thank you.
Kidding me?
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding you. That's the truth. You're not going anywhere. That's the truth. All right, thank you. All right, Suzanne Walt.
My charge was battery.
Oh, wow, I know, man. But that's the way life is. What did he say? Oh, whoa. Bring him back. Whoa. Bring that guy back. Bring him back. Whoa. Hey, bring that guy back.
Come on, Sheriff. Deputy, go get him.
I want him back right now. So what did you just say when you walked away?
I called you a because you're...
Did you?
The charges I had yesterday.
Okay, hold on a second, sir.
Battery charge.
Sir, this court is inclined to hold you in contempt of court, and I want to know from you, give me a reason why I should not hold you in contempt of court.
I don't see a reason why you shouldn't be, because there's not a reason this should be here.
Okay, sir, I find you in contempt of court for using that type of language with the court you just used, and before I pass sentence on you, I'm going to ask you if you have anything to say before I pass sentence.
Judge is just begging.
I apologize, I was out of line. I'm just upset because this is not what I was charged with yesterday.
Okay,
I
sir.
was charged with a battery.
I accept your apology, and I will sentence you to 60 days in the Broward County Jail.
Wow, 60 days. He was looking at probably getting out in a few, right? And have to post bond. But now, unless the judge overrules himself and changes and reduces his own sentence, that guy will sit there for 2 months. Brutal.
Can I take the back in?
All right, sir, hold it. Come on back, sir. Sir, Sir, I'm inclined to hold you in contempt of court again. Would you like to tell me why I should not hold you in contempt of court for the last thing you just said?
I asked if you're allowed to do that for me.
All right. I find you in contempt of court for the second time you said that. Do you have anything else you'd like to say in mitigation of the second sentence I'm about to hand down?
I was just asking my attorney if he can do that.
All right, sir, you have nothing. I'm going to send you to another 60 days to run consecutive to the prior 60 days. So now you're up to 120 days in the Broward County Jail. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Nah.
All right, sir, thank you very much. You're done.
I didn't even know you can do that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you can.
All right, I think you should move along. So it's going to be 60 plus 60, okay, to run consecutive. Thank you.
Wow, do not mess around. He's totally right. And this is like a reoccurring theme in these videos that we do, which is people think they know and they don't know. Like you've seen our videos where like, I know my rights, and then they say everything wrong. I don't think the judge is going to hold them for the 120. The judge is going to bring them back in, I don't know, a few days, few weeks, whatever, and reduce that. But I mean, that's a guess. That's a serious up right there.
After Brian Noval spent 4 days in jail, Judge Hurley actually let Noval out of jail, believing that he learned his lesson from his court appearance.
There you go. Yeah, all right, cool. Wow, I'm quite impressed with myself. I predicted that. Yeah, I mean, it's Broward County. They got, murders in there. They're not keeping this kid in there for using swear words for 120 days, and it costs the taxpayers a lot of money to keep a person in there for 120 days because using swear words in court. This actually reminds me of another common theme that I see over and over again in the comments, and I actually do look at the comments on all of our videos. We have this video that has a bunch of views on this kid named Taven being wrongfully arrested for DUI. And one of the most common things that people say on that video is, who cares what you say? Who cares? Who cares? It's the officer that was wrong. The kid, the person being arrested should be able to say whatever they want. It's one of those things that, like, I get where you're coming from. The officer in that video was wrong. And I know that you have a First Amendment right. I'm very familiar with it. But just because you have a First Amendment right doesn't mean you need to exercise that First Amendment right. You also have a Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. And many times when you're dealing with law enforcement or standing in front of a judge, it may be a very, very good idea to make the conscious decision of exercising your Fifth Amendment right over your First Amendment right. Here's a case in point. And the same thing is true in many, many arrests. If you just simply shut up, especially when you don't fully grasp what's going on, when you don't fully understand every detail of the law and of the process, which I'm not blaming someone for not knowing it. I don't expect it. I don't know every detail of the law. But when you don't fully grasp what's going on, it is often far better to shut up than it is to make comments. And I think that this case proves this, at least in part. So I wanted to draw the analogy there because, I hate to see people sit in jail for things that could have totally been avoided.